From one lab to an entire department. Hi, my name is Emma Morris, and I'm going to be sharing the history and evolution of the psychology department at Indiana University. In 1888, Indiana University made history by establishing the first research and teaching laboratory devoted to experimental psychology in the Midwest and the second such facility in the United States. William Bryan Lowe was the founder of the first laboratory. His goal was to reconcile traditional religious and philosophical concerns with the increasing power and authority of science. He wanted to create a bridge between objective observation and human meaning. The lab was concerned with the relationship between the intensity of sound stimuli and the speed of reaction times. Lowe worked hand in hand with David Starr Jordan, IU's president at the time, to build a department that not only pushed faculty to do research, but also taught students to research. Jordan declared to his staff, quote, "The highest function of the real university is that of instruction by investigation, and a man who cannot and does not investigate cannot train investigators." In 1902, Lowe became the 10th president of Indiana University. His administrative influence was instrumental to the growth of the psychology department, and he received support and funding from the university during these formative years. By the end of World War I, the department had grown drastically. The nation was trending towards higher education, and IU's psychology department emerged as both a scientific and an applied discipline. Faculty had begun to develop specialized courses, and students conducted their own studies. The growth marked the beginning of the separation of psychology from the field of philosophy. By the 1920s, the rudiments of a doctoral department were established. And finally, by the end of the decade, the psychology program had attained complete administrative independence from philosophy. By 1931, the Department of Psychology had developed multiple areas of study, including animal conditioning, clinical psychology, and physiological psychology, with each having their own laboratories. One historian even stated the historic laboratory provided its practitioners with a scientific passport to professional autonomy and entering a wedge into an academic world that offered status, security, and financial support for pursuits that often bore little substantive relation to experimental endeavor. For most psychologists, the laboratory represented not the workshop where they spent their professional lives, but the seminary in which they were originally trained. The Great Depression caused a shift in the focus of IU's psychology department. They began researching ways that they could apply psychology in a practical way to address educational, industrial, and mental health issues. And as World War II approached, the department began national research efforts that examined human performance, learning, and morale. This heavy involvement with the nation strengthened the department's reputation and marked them as a vital scientific discipline with real-world impact. This allowed them to expand from just the knowledge of applied research and shifted to scientific ideals and grew to include experimental and clinical areas. In the 1940s, B.F. Skinner, a new leader of the psychology department, arrived. B.F. Skinner became the chairman of the department, growing it significantly. He helped establish Indiana Psychology Department as a prominent center for research. Skinner and Wells worked together, promoting their similar ideas of interdisciplinary study and scientific approach. In the 1950s, the department had officially grown into one of the country's leading academic centers for experimental psychology and was declared a major producer of PhDs. Through the late 1950s and early 1960s, the department expanded into new fields such as mathematical modeling and sensory psychology. With this major growth, the department felt a change was necessary to encapsulate the true size of the department. So, in 2005, the department changed its name from the Psychology Department to the Psychological and Brain Sciences Department to reflect the broad research that was being done. This change was more than just a switch of names. It was a rebranding of the department to showcase the rapidly expanding field of neuroscience and how it played an integral role in the traditional psychological method. In this new department, faculty began conducting research that combined cognitive psychology, neuroimaging, and computational modeling to explore how the brain supports perception, emotion, and decision-making. This new method positioned Indiana University at the forefront of the 21st century psychological research, while still maintaining the history of the department and the rigorous science and real-world application. Today, the Psychological and Brain Sciences Department continues to make history through its extensive research in multiple disciplines such as clinical neuroscience, clinical science, cognitive development, cognitive neuroscience, cognitive psychology, developmental psychology, mechanisms of behavior, molecular and systems neuroscience, sensations and perceptions, social neuroscience, and social psychology. Within each of these sections, there are multiple labs that study a vast array of psychological phenomena. From personal experience, I would like to share the work that the Navigating Intergroup Concepts and Emotions Lab, or for short, the NICE Lab, has been doing. This semester, I have been working as a research assistant in the NICE Lab, conducting sonar research. The NICE Lab examines the ways in which people's social group membership influences their experiences in diverse social contexts. We also study how the manner in which people manage their emotions in intergroup contexts impacts their behavioral, psychological, and physiological outcomes. We take a multi-level, multi-method approach, for example, experimental, physiological, longitudinal, and experience sampling approach to enrich our understanding of these processes with the aim of developing tools and interventions that help people thrive in diverse social contexts. My ability to learn and grow in this lab has shown me why I chose this degree plan and reinforced for me why I care so much about psychology. This lab has not only taught me so much about myself, but also about others within the lab and the work that our professors in this department are doing. It has truly inspired me and shown me how incredible the psychological and brain sciences department truly is.